So there's been 10 episodes of Black Clover thus far. I'm going to be talking about the latest few episodes, but I just gotta say something. As much as, because with Black Clover, it's weird the way I feel about it, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. It's like, I enjoy it a lot. I really, really enjoy it. Like, I wouldn't keep on, you know, carrying on with it if I didn't or whatever, but there's some glaring issues, especially coming from the perspective of somebody like myself, that I'm a manga reader. I read over 100 chapters of Black Clover. I want to say 104, somewhere around there, and I'm looking at the volumes because I have, I believe, the first 8 that are out right now, something like that, and I'm looking, and we just entered, in 10 episodes, we entered the second volume. We're like on chapter 9, like towards the end of chapter 9. 9 chapters for 10 episodes. That is worse pacing than the One Piece anime. The One Piece anime tries their best to do like at least a chapter and some change per episode. Occasionally they do bad, but for the most part they try to do that. With Black Clover, especially the fact that we have like 136 chapters right now, or something like that. Like there's 130 some odd chapters out, and we're going at a snail's pace. We should not be only 9 chapters deep 10 episodes in, and I think that's a big problem with Studio Period, and I was going to make an entire video about it, but in a nutshell, it's like they don't have a happy medium. You either get a series like Tokyo Ghoul, where they blaze through the content to the point that they skip out on stuff, or you get a series like Black Clover, where the pacing is just ridiculously slow, and there's so much in canon filler. Like, I believe the last time I did a video on Black Clover was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, and since then there's just been loads of in-canon filler, taking what was like one panel and turning it into like a good 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes of an episode. Like the part with Magna and Yami gambling, as funny as it was, and it felt like Gintama-ish in a way, reminds me of like Kondo from Gintama, if anybody watches Gintama out there, but like, it's ridiculous the amount of slow pacing that we're having with Black Clover. I mean, the latest stuff, finally getting the first some odd villain. I mean, we had that one guy in the very beginning or whatever, but like, this was the first little mission that we went on as Black Bulls with Asta and the crew, you know, Asta, Noel, and Magna, and it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, why did it take so long? Like, they could have easily breezed through this. And again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, Black Clover anime and manga, their problems are night and day. The manga, it goes way too quick, especially early on in these parts, and the anime is going way too slow. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's a good thing that the anime is taking some liberties and adding in certain aspects that help with the character development, help to flesh out the characters, flesh out the story, flesh out the world building, all that good stuff. But when you're 9 chapters in 10 episodes, that is problematic. Now, the latest guy, the Ice guy, seeing Magna really having to push forth, it kind of made me feel a little bit like, okay, so potentially this is the limits of Magna at this point. Like, he was going really, really hard to try and take that dude down, and he couldn't. If it wasn't for Asta and Noel and their triple team with Magna against that dude, they would have been fish fries, especially Magna. He would have been toasted, even though that guy is ice, so fire should be ice, but he was just in a whole other league. And then it also showcases, which kind of reminds me of what I've said before, it reminds me of Fairy Tail with certain aspects, because towards the end of the latest episode, if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about some secret group after the ice guy, like, killed himself, which, that was kind of cool. It's like, hey, they rather die than talk. They ain't on no snitch shit, you know what I'm saying? So, good stuff there. But then the secret organization is talking about reviving some great person or whatever, and you know, this is obviously evil people, so it kind of reminds me of like Fairy Tail with Zeref. In the beginning of Fairy Tail, they constantly talked about trying to revive the great legendary Zeref, and it seems as though, at the very least, based on where we're at right now in Black Clover, is something similar. I don't know if that's going to be the grandioso villain of it all that they're trying to revive, again, similar with Zeref, that was throughout the entirety of Fairy Tail. They was trying to bring him back, and then eventually, you know, it came into the story. I don't know if that's the same person or the same type of person as far as like the main villain that they're trying to go for, but you can definitely see that this person and this group, they command a lot of respect and they don't tolerate shit. Because if a group and a person rather die than talk or go to jail or anything like that, then you know they're either A, really scared of this organization, like, yo, they're gonna make it a lot worse, let me just kill myself, or B, there's a certain amount of loyalty that they have, because loyalty can go a long way, and maybe the dude just felt really, really loyal to the cause, whatever they're intentionally trying to do. Now, the past couple episodes, the latest one, like, honestly, again, and I know I'm kind of like all over the place with this, but just bear with me, like, it seems as though, like, we have cool stuff like that, right, because that actually is interesting, and it goes into an overall theming plot for Black Clover, but then you get episodes like the one before where they're chasing pigs around, and it led into them encountering the village with the mist and all that shit, and kind of them not knowing what to do or whatever. But like, it just really feels like we have so much unnecessary stuff, especially when we have 130 something chapters of content. Right now we still have 120 something chapters that can be adapted, and this is going to be a 50 episode anime. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have done 2 chapters per episode, maybe a little less if they wanted to add in canon filler, but I know majority of this video has been me complaining about the pacing, but it's like, I like Black Clover so much, and I'm even enjoying certain aspects of the, you know, the filler that they're adding in there, but it just gets to a point where it's like, bro, when are we gonna take off, so to speak? One of the problems, which I thought they would have learned with My Hero Academia, was the first season, which, by the way, Black Clover is seemingly going straight through 50 episodes, but the first season of My Hero, the problem a lot of people had with it was the pacing. They were going really, really slow, and Black Clover is doing the same thing. Now, maybe they're thinking in their minds, like, hey, we got 50 something episodes, you know, 51 episodes, so we can slowly get people into the really big stuff as we go along, and we don't got to take breaks either, like, you know, a seasonal break like My Hero had to do. But it's still like, bro, like, get to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have Ino Shishio Pig episodes when I want to get to the good stuff, and it's still a long way to go. On top of that, they're spoiling fans with, like, the video game that's coming out on certain aspects. Now, the past couple episodes, let's talk about some of the character. I think we got some character development for Noelle. We got more into her, and then on top of that, we got to see slowly but surely, she's slowly getting a handle of her powers. It was kind of funny and embarrassing when she first tried to strike at them with her, you know, magic or whatever, and it just went to the left. I was like, we have a problem here, but you definitely see that she's trying to get the hang of it. We're getting development. You see that Noelle, she was getting ready to run on all of them, and it wasn't until that little girl said, yo, please save us, and then she realized, yo, I'm a magic knight. This is my job. This is what I have to do. So we got character development in episode 10 for Noelle. Obviously, Asta's the big dog of, I gotta save everybody, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's the typical Naruto, so not much as far as Asta's character goes with these episodes. He's just playing par for the course, the main hero that has to do everything. Magna, pretty cool though, again, seeing the limits seemingly of his powers, and I'm glad too that, because this is the first arc, I'm glad that we didn't really have to have that big rescue of like a bunch of people coming to save them. They kind of handled it on their own with like one decently powerful guy that has it all down packed, Magna, and then 2 rookies, Asta and Noelle, and they took him down. So he's probably not that big of a deal if the 3 of them, especially Noelle that can barely use her powers, and Asta that all he has is a big ass sword, they took him down. So he may not be the biggest fry in the big, you know, villain organization that we're probably going to get into as it goes on. All that being said, honestly, Black Clover, its downfall with the anime at the very least right now is hands down its pacing and in-canon filler. It's like you have all this material right now, and you even have a list of 50 episodes. Utilize that material. Like, I don't understand this. It's like they're doing a mixture of like Naruto and One Piece. You're getting the filler of Naruto and the pacing of One Piece, and that's a bad combination. But again, with Black Clover, the one thing I gotta say, I have to be honest with you guys, with all of that being said, I'm still really enjoying it. Like, and that's where you get the point of like quality versus enjoyment. Like, yeah, the quality isn't really there, especially like what they're doing with the anime. It's just like, oh, come on already, move the fuck on. You know, I'm glad we got past the first mini arc or whatever, the first villain that showed up in the first mission or whatever, but the pacing is like, we should not be on chapter 9. We should not be heading towards chapter 10 in 10 episodes, or 11 episodes is when we'll cross into chapter 10. That's ridiculous. Kind of curious though what you guys have thought about Black Clover's latest few episodes. What do you think about the Ice Guy and that organization that's trying to revive somebody? Does it give you reminiscent feels of like the beginning of Fairy Tail with Zeref? Also, what do you think about Noelle's character? And that was pretty cool, you know, her first mission, and we already seen a little bit of development, her getting courage, her taking charge and realizing what her role is. You're a magic knight. You have to protect people. What do you think about Magna seemingly seeing his limits? I think he'll get stronger as the series progresses. And of course, Asta, no new ground covered with his character. Honestly, it was just straightforward. I'm the shonen hero. I gotta help. I gotta protect my friends, and all of that shit that we've seen a billion times in shonen anime and manga. And of course, your overall thoughts of Black Clover's anime thus far. Are you annoyed, or you're enjoying Black Clover's anime based on the pacing that we're having right now? Is the in-canon filler interesting enough for you? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like, bro, you're taking one panel of them gambling and them being naked practically and making 5-10 minutes out of it. That's ridiculous. And again, your overall thoughts of Black Clover's anime thus far. 10 episodes, 9 chapters. Get a move on. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and do a little stalking on my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life. Boy, bow. Have an awesome day.